abundantly, far above all I could ask or think. Believe, yes, I believe. You say, I believe that you are able to do exceedingly abundantly, far above all I could ask or think.
I am so excited because the Step Out TV shows are back live on T2I TV. And for those who don't know, Step Out is a series of interviews and motivational segments designed to bring the best out of you and your business. Therefore, we have the following TV programs. Our first TV program, which is our flagship program, dubbed Step Out with Oscar Bimpong, is designed to interview consultants, experts, talented people, and those doing exceptionally well in their communities. The second one is Step Out SME Focus. This is where we interview business owners and showcase their products and services. The third one is Step Out Youth Impact Zone. This is where we interview young people succeeding against all odds to serve as an inspiration to other young people. And the last one is Step Out Authors Corner. And this is where we interview authors to share what their book is about to the world. Join us every week at 7 p.m. GMT. Like T2I TV on Facebook and subscribe to the YouTube channel. To advertise or for further information, do WhatsApp +44 759 1152 983 or +233 55 580 3924 or email info@traintoinspire.com. T2I TV. We engage, educate, enlighten, and empower.
Welcome to another exciting edition of the Step Out with Oscar Bimpong. And tonight is another night where we bring you experts, consultants, talented people, people doing exceptionally well in their communities, for them to come and discuss important issues, topics that can help to shape your mind, that can help you to really succeed in pursuit of any vision that you hold. We always say that this platform is for Africans by Africans. We want to really discuss the issues that pertain to our success. We have left the discussions and the things that really relates to us for others to write it on our own behalf. It is time we take the mantle and write it on our own behalf. And that is why we have the Step Out with Oscar Bimpong. And tonight is no exception. I have got a powerful man who's already seated. But before I go to him, let me just give a few mentions of our sponsors. This program is sponsored by Train to Inspire Consultancy, your business training and consulting firm. Train to Inspire also works with students, colleges, and universities. ALS Global Shipping and Logistics, your trusted import and export company based in Accra. ALS says if you are stranded at the port, call them and they will sort you out. Also, ZPay Ghana Limited, your remittance and mobile money company based in Ghana. They just launched their ZPay mobile money USSD code, and that the *270 has. Just dial it on your phone and register for ZPay mobile money. Then also Wheels for Sure, your car leasing for every credit. Wheels for Sure says it doesn't matter your credit. You can drive out of the garage with a car of your choice. When you call them, code T2I 2020, and they are going to give you a good deal. I always say that if you tell our sponsor that you got the number from T2I TV UK, you are more likely to get a very good deal. Now, if you want to contact any of them, their numbers are scrolling on the screen. Take and contact them. Then, if you want to also sponsor or partner with us, You can take the number of T2I TV UK or Train to Inspire Consultancy, and we are going to talk to you and help push your business to the next level. Now, let me go straight to business. And who do I have on the hot seat today? I have known this man for some time. I have had the opportunity to really have a personal encounter, and that is where I really had hope that there is still hope for Africa. There are certain people, when you meet them, your mindset changes. All the myths and all the things you think is not possible in Africa, they can turn it around in a minute. And these are the kind of people we need on the continent of Africa. The people that still believe, the people that still understand that there's hope, the people that are on the ground and still working, the people that have lost so much just because of Africa. And these are the people I surround myself with. I don't know who you surround yourself with, but these are the kind of people I will ask for you to really surround yourself with. And who is this man that I'm really talking about? He's the CEO of Modcom Group and also Diaspora Network Television, and that is DNT. And he is in the person of Jermaine Nkrumah. Please welcome to Step Out with Oscar Bimpo, and you are live on T2I TV UK.
Thanks, Oscar. First of all, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for organizing such a platform. I've been following you for quite a while. You are everything that you say you are. Indeed, Africa does have hope because of people like you. So I'm happy to be here.
Thank you very much. And I'm also happy for you to really give us just a bit of your busy schedule for you to come on the show, just to inspire one young African that probably will be listening to you and say, look, because of this man, I'm not going to give up. And thank you for your time too. Now we are going to talk about the African mindset and transitioning from diaspora to Africa. But before I go on, if somebody is watching for the first time in your own words, who is Jermaine Nkrumah?
Well, thank you for your question. Jermaine Nkrumah is your average African. You know, in a spectrum of affluence on one side and destitution on the other side, I guess you can place me right in the middle. So I'm really no different from anyone who might be watching. I've had some good times in my life, and I've had some really challenging times in my life. But you know what? If you have hope, if you stay optimistic, you can pretty much always find a way to turn it around. And so if you look at Jermaine Nkrumah, this is me. What you see is what you get. I'd like to consider myself not too great a deal because, you know, whatever I am, whatever people think I am, they can also be. And whatever anyone thinks he or she is, I can also become. And so that's Jermaine Nkrumah.
You see what you get. And I think a lot of Africans or some people, what you see, you don't really get it, isn't it? There is a bit of difference, isn't it? The perception and the reality, it never adds up.
You know, we spend so much time appearing to be something we're not. But you know, the interesting thing is, if I try to posture as someone that I'm not, then I've put an extra burden on myself to always keep up being that. And in so doing, I'm not myself. I'm not relaxed. I'm always tensed because I'm worried someone is going to see the real me. So why don't you just present the real you to the public so that you don't have to do anything different to maintain your equilibrium and stay the same? That's how I roll.
Wow. And that can become hard work. But based
Exactly.
But based on our topic for discussion, I want to bring us back because we're talking about the African mindset. And now a lot of Africans are living in diaspora. Some wants to come home. But I just want you to tell us whether slavery and colonization has really impacted it in a way that even in this generation, there is, because of slavery, there is something that is still happening to us, that because of that, really become a challenge for us to achieve certain things as a country and as a continent.
You know, without a question, slavery has had an impact on us. It's had an impact on our psyche. It's had an impact on our mindset and what we view as ideal and what we view as not ideal. Now, historians go back and they credit the white man, the European colonists, as being these geniuses who sat down and thought, oh, we're going to do this to them. And several centuries later, this will be the result. And we give them, I think we give them too much credit, as if they sat down somewhere and scripted whatever it is that's happening today. I refuse to believe that. I think these people just needed people to work their lands, and they came just like, no, mind you, before they came, we had servitude of our own. If I owed you money and I couldn't pay you the money, I could bring one of my children or maybe someone over whom I had control and say, look, let him work off some of my debt. So they really didn't bring anything new, right? And then at the time, remember, when I gave that child to you to work for you, you treated them likely as your own. There was no this dehumanization that you subjected those people into. And so could it be that at the time that we, our ancestors, were engaged in slavery, slave trade with the colonists, they had the same mindset? Now remember, how is it likely that a group of people whose family extend 4, 5, 6 layers outward, right? Remember, as you sit here, you have your uncle, your cousins, and you're becoming to them culturally and societally, all right? And so we are the kind of people who are warm to ourselves. Remember, the African is not the type of person who cares only about his wife and his children, as they are. We are not like that. We have an extended family, so we care. We have that extended care. So it seems strange to me that this is the same people who would knowingly send some of their kin and say, you know, you go hang them, you go dehumanize them, you go kill them. I just refuse to believe that. They can do it, but it's not in us to do that, at least at the time. And so it comes back to what I believe to be people came in here probably under some pretense, or we will have, we will take some, that people were forcibly taken. Well, however that transpired, it has had profound effect on our psyche, but I refuse to believe that somebody sat down and scripted it all. It is just a manifestation of taking some people through a series of dehumanizing events, and that will be the result. Now, let me say this: if the tables were turned, right, and you pick some Africans, you go to Europe, bring some Europeans to Africa, take them into the bushes where they are secluded from the outside world, and you submit them to the same type of dehumanization that they subjected our brothers and sisters some centuries ago. After a while, they will behave exactly the same way we are behaving. In fact, I'll give you, I'll ask viewers to look up this movie. It's called The White Man's Burden. The White Man's Burden. It stars John Travolta and it stars Harry Belafonte. It's a story of United States where the race relations are flipped, where Black people are living the uppity life and white people are living the other life. And you know what? It proceeded the same way that I'm talking about, where the whites were behaving in exactly the same way that blacks behave today. Okay. Now you can say that's fiction, but that's not really outside too far from reality. And so when you look at it like that, you will eventually reject the notion that we as a people at the core are not good enough or are inferior. Certain developments, some historical developments, can cause these things, manifestations to occur. And it is incumbent upon us to realize what's going on and work our way out of it. And so that's the challenge for all Black people around the world.
Because one of the reasons why I'm saying that is when you look at something like divorce, right? In London, divorce rate of Black people are so high compared to our how do we call it, our population, right? Now, in the during slavery, the master separated the man from the woman, right? And consciously or unconsciously, that relationship was broken down at the time. But it looks like it's still reflecting on us today. And I believe that these are some of the things that I think sometimes we think that it's happening now in our generation, but I think it dates back to those times. What do you think?
Okay, it looks like technology failed us, so you might have to repeat the question because I could barely make anything out of what you said.
Wow. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that when you look at certain things that happened to our brothers and sisters during slavery, right? The same thing is happening to us now. So, for example, the slave master separated the man from the woman. And when you look at in our time now, like a place in London, the divorce rate of Black people are so high. Is there any relation?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Look, if you're sick and you go to the hospital, you have a headache. To you, it's just a headache. To the doctor, after they've taken you through a lot of tests and examinations and perhaps some scans and stuff, they'll come up with the root causes being the reason why you have a headache. All right. So the cause of your headache may be different from the cause of my headache. All right. So let me put this in context. If Jermaine Nkrumah can, I grew up in Africa where culturally the father is king. And I saw some of that, okay? When we were growing up, no questions asked. That's what I know. That's what I grew up with, okay? Now, 25 years of witnessing a marital setting where the husband is the undisputed king of the family. I get on a plane and I go to United States and I marry an African woman. And all of a sudden, I'm being introduced to a concept of 50%. I make a decision, you make a decision. All right. Now, some of us are going to be able to adapt quickly and look at it like this is the reality. I'm going to adapt and live with that system. But not everybody is going to be able to accept that easily. Okay. In fact, I know someone, for obvious reason, I won't be able to mention a name, but he was very affluent here in Africa. He had a wife. Jump, the wife says, how high? Everything was in his control. He takes his wife and their newborn baby to United States. Within a few months, this man comes to me and says, Jermaine, how do you do it? I'm like, how do you live in a place like this? And I said, what are you talking about? The same wife that a few months ago, when I said sit, she sits. Now in America, when I say one word, she says 10. I can't deal with it. Homeboy gets on a plane and returns to Africa. Okay. So when you're trying to explain the high divorce rate of Africans, that could be a cause of one cause. It could be the struggles, the economic struggles that we go through, right? If you're hungry and everybody around you is hungry, you don't feel your hunger as much as when you're hungry and everybody else is fully fed, right? So if you're struggling in London or New York, and all around you people are doing well and everything, and you're the leader of the family, I mean, there's gonna be some questions thrown at you like, well, you're not good enough or what? What's wrong with you? Blah, blah, blah. And people may not be able to take it. So there are several reasons why a high divorce rate might occur within the Black community anywhere around the world.
Wow.
But rather, again, rather than attribute it to the notion that, oh, we have certain tendencies physiologically or biologically, we're a certain way. No, you have to dig deeper, just like the doctor would dig deeper in order to find the cause of your headache.
Wow, that's really sounds quite interesting, and I like that analogy. Now, have this one led us, like this slavery and colonization, has it really led us to really have a particular mindset that is really hindering our growth and development as a country and then and as a continent?
You know, I'll answer your question this way. Historically, we know when the slave ships got to the New World, which is the Western Hemisphere, they started selling the slaves from, they call it New England, up in the Northeast. And the ships at every stop, they'll sell off all the way until it gets to the Caribbean, way down south, right? Now, they, along the way from Africa across the Atlantic to the Western Hemisphere, the slave, they would have ascertained who the quote unquote good slaves are and who the bad slaves are. And who in their characterization is a bad slave, those who just refused to accept. They just simply did not want to accept their situation. And there were those who said, you know what, that's the reality, I'll accept that, okay? And so when they get to New England, they will sell off the good slaves, again, quote unquote, good slaves first, all the way. By the time they get to the Caribbean, the ships are left with what they characterize as the bad slaves. And those are the people who were vehemently African, saying, no, we're not going to accept the dominance that you have over us. And you know what? 400 years later, you can find some of those tendencies still existing, where the Caribbeans, the Black Caribbeans, are very, very vehemently African. They never gave up their Africanness, if there's such a word. Okay? And so when you take the typical African American and you take the typical Caribbean, you can find a difference in terms of how they accept white dominance. All right? And so now I'm not saying everybody fits that category, but overall, that's how things have shaped up. And so to your question, has that the slavery impacted our minds? It has. It has. And you know, just like they always say, in order to be able to resolve your problem, you have to first acknowledge it, right? The guy who acknowledges that he's an alcoholic is more likely able to work himself out of it than the one who said, oh no, I'm not an alcoholic. Meanwhile, they drink up a storm. Okay? So we need to realize that slavery and colonization has had a lasting impact on us. And we are a thinking people. We need to sit down, have some strategies in place. Because what we're doing right now is catching up. We're trying to survive. on a daily basis. Here's where we find out, how do I feed my family? But to work our way out of that, we need to put a group of thinkers in a room, pay them well, and say, all you do is think for the Black race. How do we get out of this? If we do that, we will find the answer, because I have trust in the African mind. But we've been placed in a certain position where we're playing catch up all the time, all the time. So we never have time to strategize.
Wow.
There's nothing that you cannot accomplish if you take time away from all the heat and sit down and strategize. And for whatever reason, we Africans have not been able to make the necessary time to strategize how we get out of this conundrum.
So is that the reason why we always think that we are not good enough? And as a result, we always want to play second fiddle to others?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you've been told many times that you're not good enough, it takes some seriously analytical minds to sit down and figure out that, wait, that's a lie. That's a lie. Look, when I was young, I used to sing in the bathroom. And I told you an average, we had one bathroom. And I was so stubborn. I get up in the morning, I'll go into the bathroom and I'm singing. And my father needs to take a bath. And for whatever, my father was a very tolerant man. I just love him to death. Instead of the average father just beating that out of you, he just came out with this, that, do you know that when you sing in the bathroom, your mother can die? That's all he needed to say, and never sang again. And you know what? It reduced my singing time, the time that I took a bath from perhaps 15 minutes to about 5 minutes or so. You know, when you've been told things, you believe them. And you know, I believed this thing until I grew up.
Yes.
Okay. So when you're told a certain things, you're told that the white man is better than you. Over time, in the movies, they show it. In everything, they show it. And if you don't take care, you start to believe it. But you still need to be able to look at things contextually and try to rise above us. Rise above it. And you know, the good news is in Africa, there are some of us who can sit down and write. Look, there's a reason for everything. There's a reason for everything. If you've been told that, look at you and me, we're blacks, right? We're black people. Absent-mindedly, I guarantee you, you've said it in your lifetime when you're talking with your friends that, oh, man, I've met this girl, man, beautiful. You know,
Yes.
you say it without thinking.
Yes.
That's a subconscious admission that anything lighter skin is superior to the darker skin. And we're all guilty of that. How did that come about? Okay, so you realize that this is where I am, and then you work your way out of it. But what I refuse to agree to is that we are not good enough. I, Jermaine Nkrumah, from an average family, left Ghana, went to United States, went to university, beat my fellow students, some black, some white, some Asian. I wasn't the first in my class, but I certainly wasn't the last in my class, which means I beat some of them and some of them beat me. And this is operating on their turf. Okay? I left Ghana, went to compete with them on their turf, in their environment, and beat some of them. So who are you again to tell me I'm not good enough? You understand? So we just need to believe that we're good enough.
But
And in fact, I'll go ahead and say this. The term, you've heard of the term white supremacy, right?
yes, yes.
Well, lately, the term black supremacy has started to come up.
Wow.
Yes, because look at the things that we've been through, and we're still alive today, kicking and smiling and going about their business and still creating things.
Mm.
We may never know if they had to go through what we've gone through, whether they will even survive.
They will be
Do
dead.
we ever know that?
Yeah.
Okay. So if they have the right to call themselves white supremacy, why don't I have the right to call black supremacy?
Wow. But you see, you have got the opportunity
Mm-hmm.
to see a different world and a different side, and you have made your own judgment, and that has really boosted your confidence. That look, even I was there and I was able to really beat some of them, and some really beat me. Now, for our brothers and sisters that haven't had that opportunity, don't you think they still have issues with self-belief when it comes to competing with them? They think that still they are better than them, isn't it?
That's very true. That's very true. But what are we doing about that?
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing about that? Think about this. We go out there. See, have you seen a Ghanaian rapper before? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Was that something that we did? We learn better than any group of people that I know on this planet.
Mm.
Okay? And so if we refuse to learn, that's on us. But it seemed to me that if you haven't traveled before and you want to be able to you want to use the excuse that, oh, I haven't been there before, so maybe I've not been exposed to them before, and that's why I still believe what I believe. Well, have you been there before to be able to rap? You see it on TV and you pick it up just like that,
Yeah.
right? You see hair, these hair that looks like white people's hair. You haven't been there to be exposed to it, but you see it on TV and you buy it and you put it on your hair, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of people in Ghana, in every African country today, who can speak and act as if they've already been there, right?
Yes.
So if you can act it, why is it so difficult for you to understand the one thing that we've been trying to tell you, that you are good enough and that you should not look at them like they're superhuman? Why is that difficult for you to accept that?
Wow. Because it's quite interesting, because I grew up in Obuasi, and when we were children, when we see white people, we stop and watch them, right? And these are some of the things that
Mhm.
we at the back of our minds, we always thought they were better than us until we got the opportunity, as you were saying, to really be with them and realize that look, we can do better. How can we build that confidence for us to succeed on the continent, that we don't need a third party to succeed, but with ourselves we can succeed with or without help?
Well, reading is a good start.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give you an example. Before I left for United States, I used to read the Newsweek magazine. Okay, and when you read the Newsweek magazine, and I read anything American, because I was very, very curious about America.
Mm.
So I read everything I could find about them. There's this author called James Hadley Chase. He wrote over 60 to 80 books about American criminal life in America. And so I understood a lot about United States even before I set foot there for the first time. And guess what? Everything I read about, I saw when I got there.
Mm.
Okay. I'll give you another story. I used to be the club DJ for a club called Hedonists. That was a club that was close to the campus of now KNUST. And a lot of the students used to come there. And the American Peace Corps, they used to come there, and then they'll come to my club. And of course, they'll want to be talking to the DJ. So I made friends with a lot of them. There was this particular guy called Zachary. He was from Columbus, Ohio. One day he came to the club and drank up all his money. All
Mm.
right. And he asked me for money for taxi fare to go back to campus. That right there taught me something. Wait, I thought Americans are flawless. So Americans can actually go to a club and buy drinks to drink all their and not even have the sense to leave money to take cab home. Education me. And that right there told me that way. Maybe these people are not very different from you see what I'm saying? So if you keep your eyes open, you can really learn a lot. Anyway, I finally convinced this guy that he can work, nothing is going to happen to him. Reluctantly, the next day he came back and said, Jermaine, I'm not going back. So what do you mean I'm not going back? I'm not going back to America. I said, why? You mean there's a place on earth where you can walk about 3 miles in a city at 2 a.m. in the morning, nobody sticks a gun at you and you're safe? No, I'm not going back. Right there, that was education for me. He just told me that this place, you cannot walk around at 2 a.m. without somebody attacking you. And so if we keep our eyes open and we read, we can always find things about other people. And those things will help to undo some of the inherent beliefs that you've been instilled with over a period of time. So for me, that's how I learned about the United States. And the more I learned, the more I came to the conclusion that we're good enough. Yes.
I like the way you talked about reading, right? Because there is a saying that if you want to buy something from the black man, you put it in the book. Do you think this still holds? Because I don't see us reading that much, or is it changing?
It's you know what? That's a very interesting question. I'll tell you this. All right. Me as a person, I learned a lot from reading periodicals. Periodicals. Most people have this belief that you have to read a thick book that's authored by someone to. No, reading is at the end of the day, you're gathering information. Yes. So if I read Newsweek magazine to learn that the minimum wage has been increased from so and so to $3.35 per hour, right there, when I read it, I'm like, okay, so in America, you can work just 1 hour, you can make $3.35. This was way back in the early 80s. All right. That's information that you've gathered. It doesn't have to be in a particular form. And so I submit to you that people are reading today as much as we read back then. Okay. It may not be in a book, but it comes on WhatsApp, it comes on Facebook, it comes, so you're gathering information. The only thing that I would say I would guide against is that let's try to use the correct language, because now people are not even typing anymore. They have something called what? Stickers and memes and everything. That's how they used to communicate. I don't even know what those things are. Okay. But one thing I can tell you is that people are reading. People are reading as much. In fact, I'll submit to you that we read more than they did back then. Because back then, you needed to walk to school. You were walking to school. We used to walk about 4 miles to school. During that walk, you can bet I wasn't reading because I didn't want to be knocked down by a car, right? So the 30 minutes that it took me to walk to school, I was not consuming anything. Today, if someone is sitting in Trotro, they're reading stuff on their phones. Okay, so you can read, you can gather information in most different forms, but you always have to find information. And when you find new information, put them in context, make it a learning experience. That's what I'll tell young people today.
What do you think has really hindered our development as a country and as a continent? Because when you look at the natural resources that we have, if you look at the human resources that we have, if you look at the talent that we have, I believe we should do better. What has been the biggest hindrance?
Instant gratification.
Wow.
I can expand on it, but that's one term that I can give you: instant gratification. We're constantly looking for today, what I'm going to eat today, what I'm going to get this week. Okay, so let me give you an example. If the two of us are running for parliament, and you come with a comprehensive plan of how you're going to help move this constituency forward, right? You come, you sit a group of people down and you talk to them till you're blue in the face. I can be somewhere drinking, chasing women, doing whatever. As soon as you finish talking all that big English, I come to that same constituency, give everybody 50 cities. They'll vote for me. You walk. I don't have any plan, but I win the seat, and you're the guy with the plan. You walk. This is what's going on throughout the continent. And you know what? They explain it that, well, I'm hungry. Give me something to eat. Do you want to tell me that if that guy wasn't running for parliament, you would not eat for that day?
Yes, exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
But we'll take it and eat and vote for an idiot to go to parliament. Meanwhile, the smart guy walks. So instant gratification, we want it today. And I mean, the examples are all over the place. I'll give you another example. Politicians, we build this group of people, we just go and build a borehole for them. We build a borehole for these people. If you count the number of boreholes that we build throughout this country, I don't know what number it is. But one thing I can bet you is that if you put all that money together and give it to Ghana Water Corporation, I bet you they can supply water to the rest of the country. You see what I'm saying? But who's sitting down and crunching up all these numbers? Nobody. We just want to solve a problem today. We solve it. We're putting out fires. That is the thing that bothers the hell out of me. Because we are good enough. We have people with the smarts to sit down and figure it out. But you know what? We want to. I'll give you one last example on this subject. Okay. If you have a budget to build roads, right? And let's say a kilometer of road costs $100,000, right? Let's use it 100,000 cities for 1 kilometer. Now you have a challenge. You can build a solid road that will last 20, 30 years and spend all that money in East Legon, right? So that for the next 20 years, you're done with East Legon, you're going to the other parts of the country. But if you do that without explaining to the electorate what you're doing, the electorate will turn around and, because he's from East Legon, look, he has done their roads. We here, we're suffering, right? Or maybe you just do it somewhere else. Wherever you do it, the place where you did not construct road, they'll vote against you because you didn't construct their road and you constructed other people well. You were trying to construct lasting roads one area at a time, which some may think is strategic. But for political reasons, you cannot do that. You have to stretch that same budget to build inferior roads all over the country, right? So that everybody is happy. You made them happy. Election time, yay! They made our roads. Now they vote for you. A year later, the roads are back to crap. You see what I'm saying? And then we go through the same cycle. What would it take for us to gather chiefs and everybody down and say, look, we've been building roads like this for a long time. It's not going anywhere. Let's start to build good roads. But if we do that, we're not going to be able to cover the whole country. So here, we'll make a drawing. Those who pick one will make your roads first. Those who pick two will make your roads next. Those who pick three, and it goes down so that it's not a favoritism. Okay? The group who pick one will spend all the money to build your roads. And meanwhile, the people who pick four, they understand that it is a fair system and that eventually we'll come to their roads so that we can build roads that will last 20 years and not go through the same cycle again. This, I'm sure there's a better way to do it, but these are some of the things that we should be looking at, right? Instead of to please people whenever they make noise, and then we keep going back and forth and doing the same thing over and over again.
But you see, from what you are saying, it means that the leaders want instant gratification. The people want instant gratification, right?
Yeah.
Now, who is going to drive change then?
The leadership. The leadership. Look, there's nothing that you cannot accomplish with communication, right? You fight with your wife, how do you solve the problem? You sit down, you communicate. When there's war going on, the two factions sit down and dialogue. Communication is the biggest tool that we don't use enough in this country. Look at the example that I gave you. If we got we have National House of Chiefs, 16 of them, Regional House of Chiefs, right? Bring all their top people to, let's all gather in Ho or Takrady or somewhere. This is the plan that I'm presenting to you to build roads in Ghana. Bring the chiefs, bring the parliamentarian, bring all the stakeholders together. Let's plan this together. And once we agree that this is the way we're going to do it, I'm counting on you to go to your people and convey that message to them. If you need me to come there to help you communicate to them, I will. But this is the plan. This is how we're going to build the roads. We're not going to build crap that last 1 year just because you want to satisfy everybody at the same time. If we do the plan and we communicate to the people, they will understand. Look at how the president handled COVID. Constant updates, national update. Everybody listen. Okay, today the COVID, the pandemic has gotten to this, so we need to do ABC. When you communicate to them, people understand what you're doing. But many times we don't. And if there's communication vacuum, people form their own opinions, and rightly so. So
Because
it can be done. If you want to drive change, communication is your number one tool.
wow.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I think it is one of the things that we are lacking. I always tell people that, look, when you step outside the shores of Ghana, you go to Europe or America, one of the things from the airport to where you are going, even you can decide not to ask anybody, but you can still get home because there is so much information for you to get to where you want to be.
Yeah.
But for us, it's on a different level. Even our roads don't have even address systems. In this time of generation, when you go for a loan, the banker needs to follow you home. And these are some of the things that needs to be addressed instantly. But I believe that our personal interest has really impacted our national interest. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, absolutely. Look, there in English, we have something, the first person singular, the second person singular, the third person singular, right? Do you know the impact of that? Who's the first person singular?
Go ahead.
That's the first person.
Uh-huh.
The second person is the person right in front of you that you're dealing with, right? And then the third person is everybody else, you know. And so those things play in our look. Jermaine Nkrumah comes first in my thinking. But guess what? There are times where Jermaine Nkrumah's interest is intertwined in the interest of everybody else. And I have to be able to figure out that, okay, I may want this thing today, but if I have it today and everybody else goes without, they might turn around and come and attack me for it. So maybe on this issue, I'll have my interest take a backseat to the interest of the larger population. So it is not entirely wrong to have the id. In English, I think they call it the id, psychology, the first person. It is not entirely wrong to have the first person as your primary interest, but you have to think louder, all right? I'll give you some examples. Over here in Ghana, one of my biggest pet peeve is driving on the shoulder. Okay, when you're driving and there's traffic, people are driving on the shoulder and they get to the front, they want to jump in front of you. It makes my blood boil. Why? Because if we all stay in line, everybody will get to where they're going in an orderly fashion. But if you drive on that road, you're taking your personal interest ahead of everybody else. And what makes that stupid is that this guy got here first. You got here later, but you want to get ahead of him illegally. You see what I'm saying? Those are examples where we put our personal interest ahead of the general good. So, how does it translate to development? All right. You are in charge of, say, the forest. Okay. They say we should not cut these trees because we need the ecosystem. We need our rivers to be clean. We need our environment to be clean. You are in charge of it. Somebody comes from a different country, comes to you and says, "Oh, you know what? And he has some trees there. Oh, he's not cutting his trees. He comes to your house and says, you know what? Let me cut your trees." You tell him, "Oh no, it's against the law." "Oh, come on, here's $50,000 for you." And you look left, you look right, nobody is looking. You take that $50,000, you put it in your pocket. He cuts the tree, right? Now, you might be able to live better than you already are because of the $50,000. But you're destroying your rivers, you're destroying your environment. Over time, it'll come back and wipe that $50,000 that you put in your pocket plus more. Why? Because you didn't think that far. Okay? If Black people are killed everywhere, will people look at us as subhuman? These are stupid people. They don't have any sense. They're not even human. Let's just kill them. But you want to steal money and say, "Oh, no, this is for me and my family. I have money. Now I can send my child to a school in England or United States or France." Well, how do you know your son is not going to be at the wrong place at the wrong time because he's Black and everybody is looking down Black? They don't know he's a son of Jermaine Nkrumah. So that's another Black life that we need to eliminate. How can you guarantee against that? And so if you have to build the Black race to respectability, it seemed to me that that is as important as your own private pocket. And if there's one area that we are lacking as a people, it is that ability to think that far. We don't. We want to think on our own, and then when we make the money, it's not as if we look. If people would make the let me change direction on you. Corruption is bad, right? Everybody knows corruption is bad. If you steal money from the national coffers in Ghana, if you turn around and open a factory here in Ghana, employ 50 people, it's bad that you stole the money. But you employ people and everything, it is not as bad. But if you steal that money and you go and put it in an account in Dubai, account in Switzerland, so that you can take your girlfriends on a shopping vacation and everything, I'm going to say something very, very awkward. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but it drives the point home. The last time I said this, people were laughing, but I'm very, very serious about it. If you take a girlfriend to Dubai on vacation, the sex on a bed in a hotel room in Dubai, same girl, is it different than sex with the same girl in the hotel in Axim? Is there a difference?
No.
So then what is all this about? What is all this about? Why do Nigerians fill Emirates airplane to go and do their wedding in Dubai because it's the in thing. You know how much money you just took from Nigeria and dumped it in United Arab Emirates? How many Emiratis get on a plane and come do their wedding in Nigeria? Are we stupid? At some point, we have to call it like it is.
Mhm.
You have Royal Senchi here. You have plenty of places in Ghana where you can have a blast.
Mm.
Why does it have to be somewhere? Now, people might say it's easy for you because you've been able to go to America and enjoy. We to let us enjoy some. Maybe you have a point.
Mhm.
But when I go there and I come back to you and say it's not all that, and that let's build our country, we can build it to make it like that so that they too will come here.
Mm.
Why don't you believe me? But if I come back here and tell you about Jay-Z or Rihanna or Beyonce, you're all ears. You want to take it all in. What is it that gives us this inferiority complex that we're not good enough and that everybody else is better than us? I will never understand that until I die.
Wow. And I think that is one of my problems when it comes to these telenovelas now on the screens of Ghana television, where our main programs has gone quiet and they are dead just because we are investing in others to the detriment of our own. And every dollar that we make, we spend about 90% outside and we spend 10% inside. How can we grow as a continent? And I think there's work to be done. And I believe that it has to be driving a serious mindset change. And I think that is where you come in, isn't it?
I mean, look, when you start with the belief that we're good enough, and even in some cases better, believe you me, you'll be amazed how things start to look differently.
Mm.
How things actually start to look differently.
Mm.
Okay? Look at COVID-19.
Mhm.
Africa, how did we handle COVID-19? Some said it was the heat. Oh, the heat kills the virus. Well, I live in Texas, where the weather is actually hotter than here.
Mm.
People are dying over there. So now we know it's not the heat.
Mm.
God has given us so much. The neem tree, you boil it, you steam it, however it is, that COVID-19 did not cause as much damage in Africa as it's causing everywhere. People should be sitting in a room somewhere figuring it out. What is the cause? What are we doing right that others are not doing? Now, COVID did not hit us. Okay? So there's got to be something here that takes care of COVID. Are we investing in vaccines as everybody else is investing in vaccines? No, we want to sit down and fold our arms until they finish the vaccine. And then when they bring it, they say, oh, don't try it on us. You're coming to kill us. You try it on your own. If I were a white man and you sat on your butt in Africa, did not invest in vaccine, and you want me to work on that vaccine, and I come up with a vaccine and let me try it. Oh, you're going to kill me, so try it on it. And I tried on my people first. You think I'm going to sell it to you cheap? I'll sell a vaccine for you for $100 because we're not participating. Okay, we always want other people to cook the food for us instead of cooking it ourselves. I was talking with the chairman of Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. I think Professor, I've forgotten the name. And we were talking and said, Jermaine, we go to class with these people, we beat them in class, but we come back home and we're not resourced. We have to sit down and allow the people who are inferior to us in class to develop a vaccine for us. Tell me how that makes sense. Everything comes with investment. All right. As smart as you are, if they put you in an empty laboratory, you're not going to come up with anything. We need to resource ourselves. The way we spend money on this continent is stupid. If you live in the middle of poverty and you have two Rolls Royces, I am sorry, I don't know what name to call you. Okay. But we need to be investing money in productive and constructive stuff. All right. If you don't have labs for Ghana Standards Authority, Ghana Standard Authority, what is their mandate? They're supposed to check the standards of everything that comes into this country. They are fighting with Food and Drug Administration over turf. Okay? Tell me why Ghana Standard Authority cannot leave everything everything related to food and drug to FDA so that they can concentrate on the standards of television, the standard of chairs, the standard of electric bulb, the standard of automobile and everything. You have a wide array of areas that you can regulate, but you're going to leave that and fight FDA over turf? I mean, come on, sometimes, I don't know. But I think we need more constructive thinking in this country.
We need more constructive thinking, and I think we need to get people in the right positions, and those that can deliver, we need to resource them. And as you said, you cannot have a laboratory where there are no equipment.
Yes.
Thinking that people can just conjure, for example, a vaccine for us to solve our problems. And it is about time we find solutions to our problems. I think, when the conversation is very good, trust me, time really runs, man. And we've already clocked an hour. But briefly tell me whether the young people on the continent of Africa are ready to really bring a paradigm shift.
I think they are. And you see, right now, when you look at the average age of leadership in Africa, right? It's around 70. When you put all the presidents together, about 70. That doesn't mean they're not smart. You have 70-year-olds that are really, really sharp. Okay? We have a president in this country that I believe is very sharp, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, all right? But for the most part, a 70-year-old thinking in an era of IT, do you think, even I don't understand some of the songs my kids listen to. How can I understand what they go through, what world they live in, and all that stuff? And better yet, how can I make laws for them? Okay, so there have to be a confluence of old and the new. Don't get me wrong, the old has wisdom and experience to bring to bear, but the young also has something to contribute, because after all, it is their world. The notion that we can always make decisions and lord it over them, to me, it's not good. We should find a way to bring young people into leadership. Okay, because if you're sitting on a board and a youngster is sitting there, they can bring perspectives that I could never have imagined. Okay, and so I am proposing one of the ways that we can bring young people into leadership to provide important perspectives on leadership is this. Every board of every agency must have a representation of a youth on it. We have representation of women, always. Oh, we have to include women. Oh, we have to include women. The youth, if we had the board of GMPC, we have a 35-year-old sitting on it. The board of coastal development, we have a 35-year-old sitting on it, maybe two of them. Right? If we put young people on every single board in this country, believe you me, the perspective that they will bring will influence decision making. Because the adults, sometimes it's not because they don't care about it, they simply don't know. Okay? And so this is something that just occurred to me. It's not something I sat down and thought about, but I think we as a nation should really look at the political parties. We have women's organizer, and then we have youth organizer, right? If it's enough for party building, why are they not good enough in governance?
In governance, yes.
So
That's true.
let's bring them in. And if for nothing else, they'll gain experience as they are growing up. Because if we don't give them the experience as they're growing up and we wait till they're 50, 60 before we throw them in there, what experience are they bringing in there? Let's bring the youth onto the boards of this country.
There is a saying that I always say. I say Africa is a continent where analog minds are really leading digital minds, meaning that there is a mismatch. and we
wait, say that again. Say that. No, say that again. I'm gonna quote you. Say that again.
Yes. What I'm trying to say, I always say that Africa is a continent where we have got analog minds leading digital minds. So there is a mismatch.
There it is.
And as you are saying, we need to bridge the gap, bringing in young people to really complement their analog minds. Because with their analog minds, what they are teaching us is their experience and their leadership. But what is actually happening in our generation today, they don't have a clue. They don't have a clue of IT, how we can use IT to drive the economy, how we can use IT to solve problems. They don't really understand. I don't think Buhari really understands how we can use IT to really drive change. And these are some of the things that we need young people to come into play to really support the system for us to find lasting solutions to our problems.
Yeah. Young people, it is their world. It is their world. Those of us who are 60 plus, we will be lucky. We'll be thankful to God if we're here for another 20 years. All right? But you young people, it is your world. There's no way older people should be dealing with the Chinese and white people and all over the place in terms of how to build Africa, and we leave the young people to protest on the streets and shoot them. That is stupid. We need to have young people sitting on those boards. Provide us with perspectives. Think about this. Think about this. How many times have you been on a committee at a meeting and all of you are thinking a certain way because you share that commonality? And then we have someone that's different. Say, wait a minute, have you guys thought about this? And all of you look and say, oh my goodness, we never thought about that. Has it not happened to you before?
Very much, very much.
Because you don't think in that direction. But young people can provide that perspective on the board. We should not, this business that, pay your dues before you get there. No, I disagree. Put the young people on the boards of state agencies. I am making this proposal right now. Every single state agency board must have a young person there.
Wow.
30, 35. Put them there. They finished university. Put them there. They have studied. They've studied. Put them there. Let them find out what's going on. Let them provide the perspective of the youth. You'll be amazed what they bring to the table.
Wow. I wish we could have all the time to really talk about this. But we did not even touch the second bit of our discussion. And that is transitioning from diaspora to Africa. So I think we have to have that discussion on a separate day. So we will find time and come and have that discussion. We did not even touch it at all. So we just really stood on the side of the African mindset. But I've got some few comments here. I've got Felix Gadi Beku says, awesome discussion going on. And Evelyn Kubi says, very insightful discussion there. We must awaken our conscience as Africans for Africa. Then she also said that this man is really telling the truth. There are so many things our old men leaders simply don't know. and I think she's making a very good point over there. Mr. Jermaine Nkrumah, it's been wonderful having you, and trust me, I've really enjoyed this discussion.
Thank you. Thank you. I enjoyed it myself.
Wow.
Anytime you call me, I'll be there.
Exactly. We will find time and do the second bit of our discussion. But before I go, I just want to mention some few of our sponsors. This program is sponsored by Spark Consultancy. That is your business training and consulting firm. And also, Train to Inspire works with schools and also colleges to really help in development of their personal development and also to help bridge the gap between academia and the world. Then also ALS Global Shipping and Logistics, your trusted import and export company based in Accra. ALS says, if you are stranded at the port, call us and we are going to sort you out. Also, ZPay Ghana Limited, your remittance and mobile money company based in Ghana. They just launched ZPay Mobile Money USSD code, and that is *270#. Just dial it on your phone and register for ZPay Mobile Money. Then Wheels for Sure, your car leasing company for every credit based in the UK. Wheels for Sure says it doesn't matter your credit. You can drive out of the garage with a car of your choice. When you call them, code T2Y 2020, and they will sort you out. If you want to contact any of them, their numbers are scrolling on the screen. Also, if you want to sponsor or partner with us in any of our programs, just take the number of T2I TV UK or Train to Inspire Consultancy, and we are going to work with you. Now, Mr. Jermaine Nkrumah, and thanks you once again for coming on the show, and also your last word to anyone that is watching us.
Well, thank you for having me. I think I've enjoyed myself. I think I might have enjoyed this more than you did. In closing, I would say this. I have so much belief in you, the African, that I don't even know where to begin. Okay. I have a young man working for me. I'll mention his name, Samuel Oswasari. When I first came back, I wanted to produce a movie. And what he did, when we finished the movie, we needed to explode a vehicle, right? So he took me to this young man. I only remember his name as Adom in Kumasi. This man lived in one room, just one room like this. His bed is here, his desk is here, and he had a desktop. We gave him the footage. He says, give us 2 weeks. 2 weeks, we came back, and this guy exploded the vehicle using digital means. And when you look at the explosion on that movie, you will not see any different from the way they explode vehicles in Hollywood.
Wow.
Okay. And that's a kid in Kumasi with sparse resources. I wish I had a way to show you the explosion that he was able to make. That told me that if you resource our young men and women in this country, be ready for a ride, because Ghanaian and African young men and women have learned, they've studied. All they are waiting for is an opportunity, a chance to compete with the rest of the world. When we were growing up, there was a saying that Kwesi Bruni Chemikapre. Some of us, and when I say some of us, I mean our age group, still believed in that stupidity. I had a whole minister, I won't mention his name, come to us in Houston. We set up a meeting with an airline company. They brought their executives, and we were going to make a presentation as to why it benefits them to have a direct flight from Houston to Accra. We sat down and we gave this minister the first chance to speak. He opened his mouth and he was begging them to come to Africa.
Oh, Jesus.
We sat there and we didn't know what else to do. The meeting, needless to say, didn't go anywhere. The young man or young woman today in Africa does not have that mindset.
No.
If he sits down with somebody from China, someone with armed with the accurate information. They are negotiating from the standpoint is this is what I have, this is what we have. How can we work together for the benefit of everybody? So the mentality, we are as great as the limits we place ourselves mentally. Okay? We have 34% of the resources the world needs in Africa. The notion that these people get on a plane and come here to do us favors is just plain stupid. They don't come here to do us favor. They come here to take what we want. What they want. And so if we understand that, we need to guard our turf and make sure they might withdraw some services. They might be able to say, okay, we're going to withdraw satellite connectivity. Fine. Let's put our scientists together to figure an alternative. But they cannot continue to use these things on our head that if you don't do this, we do this. We too should be able to tell them, if you don't do this, we don't do this.
Exactly.
And then in the end, we'll see who will balk. But we're not engaged in that kind of blinksmanship. The moment they offer us something, we yield. The moment they threaten us something, we yield. The last thing that I'll say, Dr. Arikana Chihombori-Kwa, when she was African Union ambassador to the United States, she started talking about the atrocities that France is committing against its former colonies. What did France do? They eventually made concessions. The 85% foreign reserve that they put in France, they've canceled that, or they at least put things in place to undo those things. Sometimes all you have to do is speak your mind. Yes, why do we sit down and allow these people to give us bad haircuts and not say a word? They know what they're doing is wrong. But because we don't say anything, well, they keep doing it. Sometimes if we open our mouth, simply open our mouth, you'll be amazed what we can do. And so my parting words is, let's protect our earth. This is our only place. If we sell off Africa, we think Black people are killed around the world. You wait till we sell off Africa and they take control of Africa and we don't have a land of our own. That time you will see. And you young people are the ones that are going to put up with that. You get on a plane, fly to Paris or any of those places, they'll bring slavery back if we don't hold our turf here on this continent. And so this thing is serious. That's why I get so passionate about it. But we want instant gratification, so we're just looking the other way and letting things happen. No longer should we be able to do that. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your time as well. I always say this, and if you are watching us, I always say this: hold one young man and mentor. And if each and every grown man can mentor one young person over time, we will overcome something like corruption. So we need to start mentoring. And I always say this: you don't need to get to university before you mentor. When you are at the university final year, you can mentor third year. If you are in second year, you can mentor first year. Because the road from first year to second year, you know the route and you can give guidance. We don't need to be successful before we mentor. Whatever experience we have, we can hand it on to the next person just behind us, so that they will not make the same mistakes that we did. If we want to see the continent, the African continent we want, it starts from me and you. It doesn't start from government. We can change. A friend of mine made this quote and he says, if the leadership fails, the followership must not fail. And that has been my mantra all these years. That look, if the leadership is failing, we the followers, we should not fail ourselves. We should work together to change the leadership. And I believe we can do that if we start working together. We must really harness the talents we have, and we must really work together. And I believe we can build the Africa we want to see. It's never too late. We can work together and build. So it's been wonderful having you, sir. And I really want to thank everybody that wasted their time to watch us. And God richly bless everybody. So thank you very much once again, Mr. Jermaine Nkrumah, for your time. and we are humble for having you on the show.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you for having me.
So thank you, everyone, and see you. God bless you. On Saturday, we will be here 7 p.m. same time. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
I believe that you are able to do exceedingly abundantly, far above all I could ask or think. Believe, yes, I believe. You say, I believe that you are able to do exceedingly abundantly, far above all I could ask or think.
I am so excited because the Step Out TV shows are back live on T2I TV. And for those who don't know, Step Out is a series of interviews and motivational segments designed to bring the best out of you and your business. Therefore, we have the following TV programs. Our first TV program, which is our flagship program, dubbed Step Out with Oscar Bimpong, is designed to interview consultants, experts, talented people, and those doing exceptionally well in their communities. The second one is Step Out SME Focus. This is where we interview business owners and showcase their products and services. The third one is Step Out Youth Impact Zone. This is where we interview young people succeeding against all odds to serve as an inspiration to other young people. And the last one is Step Out Authors Corner. And this is where we interview authors to share what their book is about to the world. Join us every week at 7 p.m. GMT. Like T2I TV on Facebook and subscribe to the YouTube channel. To advertise or for further information, do WhatsApp +44 759 1152 983 or +233 55 580 3924 or email info@traintoinspire.com. T2I TV. We engage, educate, enlighten, and